Victor Wembanyama entered his second NBA season with high expectations, to say the least. Of course, this was to be expected, as he wasn't just the number one pick, he was also the number one pick that happened to be one of the best prospects in basketball history. And to say he lived up to that hype as a rookie would be an understatement in my opinion. He put up numbers that only a handful of all-time greats have put up in their prime. He showed massive offensive strides over the course of his rookie season, and he was the best defensive rookie we have seen since Tim Duncan, becoming the first ever rookie, as well as the youngest player in NBA history to make the all-defensive first team. So with such a great rookie season, expectations have been through the roof for Wemby in year 2. However, while he's been pretty good through his first 7 games, it's been a bit of a slower start than expected. Watching all 7 of these games, as well as looking at the numbers, is what inspired me to make this video, because there is a lot to say about what he's done to start this season and how it relates to him potentially maximizing his ability long term. In this video, I want to talk about Victor Wembanyama, the start to the season he's having, and what I believe needs to happen in order for him to reach his full potential. But before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I'd really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell notified whenever I release a video. If you enjoy basketball, I really think you're going to enjoy my content, and doing all of those things are the best way to let YouTube, and more importantly, myself know that you enjoy the content so I can make more of it in the future. Anyways, let's talk about Victor Wembanyama. In his first 7 games of the season, Victor Wembanyama is averaging 18.9 points per game, 10.3 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, 1.3 steals per game, and 3.9 blocks per game on 42.3, 22, 93.1 splits and a 53.2 true shooting percentage. From a rebounding, assist, block, and steal perspective, he's been what we all thought he would be. However, I think it's clear and hard to ignore that his efficiency, or lack thereof, is what stands out. His field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and true shooting percentage are all down compared to his rookie season, and this is despite the fact his usage is slightly down and the minutes are slightly up. Usually when a player has an efficiency dip like this, it's because the minutes and usage go up, but that isn't the case with Wemby. Now, I will talk about the biggest reason why his efficiency is down, but before I do that, I think I want to talk about the fact that despite his usage going down slightly, he's actually playing more on the ball. His assisted production percentage is down 14.8% compared to his rookie season. More on-ball reps means more chances for the efficiency to go down because of the fact that taking shots on the ball is more difficult than taking shots off the ball. Now, is his overall stat profile to start this season concerning? I wouldn't go that far. A player averaging 19, 10, 3, 4, and 1 to start his second season is far from something fans should panic about. In fact, it speaks to the type of talent we are talking about here, where a player is putting up numbers like this, and it's viewed as slightly underwhelming, because for almost any other player, these numbers in year 2 will be a massive positive. In fact, this is actually closer to what I thought his rookie numbers would look like. So it isn't some major concern in my opinion. However, there are things that need to be addressed. Wemby is taking a lot of 3-pointers to start this season, and that's putting it lightly. As of right now, 3-pointers account for 44.7% of his volume in terms of attempts. Now, the problem is the fact that he's arguably the worst volume 3-point shooter in the NBA this season. He's shooting just 22% on 7.1 attempts per game. To put that into perspective, he's in the 86th percentile in terms of 3-point volume, but he's also in the 4th percentile in terms of 3-point efficiency. On top of that, there are 77 players in the NBA right now attempting at least 5 3-pointers per game. Of those 77 players, he's the second least efficient, with only Tyson George being worse than him, and that's a rookie on the Wizards. Now, do I think he's going to be a bad shooter long term? I don't think so, because while he wasn't a great shooter last season, he showed too many flashes both on and off the ball as a shooter to panic about 7 games to start a season. And he's also a good free throw shooter, which is usually a good indicator. However, it is a continuation of a problem he had last season, which is his shot selection and decision making. There are plenty of times on tape he would settle for jumpers, take bad shots, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, I would say, at least not all the time. I think bad shot selection at a young age can be used as a learning experience, and it honestly should be expected for a high usage young player to have a problem like this. However, it's still clear to me that he's going through this problem. It's not the biggest deal in the world because it's only year 2, it's not going to go away in 1 year. And he's still learning the difference between capability and plausibility. Yes, he's capable of taking it off the bounce and creating his own shot. Yes, he can shoot over most defenders, but there are times when it isn't the most ideal shot to take in a possession. There are times it feels like he's hunting 3-pointers when I don't think he should be doing that. And he's still learning that while he may be capable of amazing things, he doesn't have to do it on every play. I'm not going to go as far to say that he shouldn't be taking threes. I think that take is a bit out there, and I think that it can be a real part of his game long term. However, I do think reeling it in a bit, focusing on more offensive areas that he's better at, instead of focusing on forcing the issue, it will go a long way in helping his efficiency. Wemby has been really good at the rim to start this season. So far, he's shooting 70.3% at the rim on 5.3 attempts per game. That's really good. The efficiency is up nearly 4% compared to his rookie season. But here's the problem. It only accounts for 33.3% of his scoring volume. Again, compare that to what I mentioned earlier, the 44.7% of volume that comes from beyond the arc. The problem is that it doesn't line up with his production, because 39.2% of his scoring production is at the rim. 25.2% of his scoring production is from 3. Comparing the two, he's scoring 13.8% more at the rim, despite the fact that he's taking 11.1% more shots from beyond the arc. It's very clear that he should be taking more shots at the rim. He's significantly more efficient on it, despite not taking as high of a volume. He's also more productive. It's the highest source of offense when it comes to his scoring. And that should be the case, because I don't know how else to say it, but he's 7'5". Yes, I know it's not that simple. Being tall doesn't guarantee success in the NBA. I know, because he's still developing physically, and they can put smaller, stronger defenders that can throw off his balance on the block. But at the same time, he's shooting over 70% at the rim, because he's really athletic, he has really good flexibility, his body control is good for his size, he's a fluid mover, he has good touch, and even if he's not perfect at the rim yet, it's clearly very effective, because he can put up shots over just about any defensive player. It's one thing to be able to be physical, it's another to get a good contest, and not a lot of people can get a good contest. Maybe if he does take more, and say he goes from 5 to 7, 8, it goes down from 70 to 65% at the rim. That's still more efficient than taking 7 threes per game and hitting just 22% of them. I know I'm basically boiling it down to the tall guys should be scoring around the basket more, but that's really the case. I do think some of it is on San Antonio because they aren't really doing the best job at getting him looks around the rim. It's better compared to last season, but it still has a long way to go. And part of it is his own shot selection. However, it's clear his efficiency will go way up if he puts more of an emphasis on this. A theme you've probably noticed with almost all my videos to start this season has been the importance of rim pressing. If you haven't watched my Paolo Banchero, Zachary Risase, or John Morant videos already, which I would highly recommend doing after you watch this video, I'll link all those videos in the description and pinned comment. I talk a lot about why rim pressure is so valuable. For Paolo, it was about how it can take his game to the next level and really unlock his full ability. For Risase, it was about how a lack of rim pressure ability and really any upside in that area make me skeptical of him ever returning first overall pick value. And for John Morant, it was about how his value as a rim pressure threat combined with his playmaking make him one of the 10 best players in the NBA in my opinion. And when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, there really isn't a good reason for him to only be taking 33.3% of his shots at the rim. If he was a wing like Brandon Miller or Bilal Coulibaly, I would understand it more. But he's not a wing, even if he has elements of a wing in his game. At least he's not a wing if you want to fully maximize what he can be offensively. He can still be valuable if he is a wing. I think he's just that talented. But that isn't fully maximizing what his potential is. I know he's still growing physically. He's still getting stronger. He's not a finished product yet. But he should be taking at least 7 to 8 attempts per game at the rim right now, which would be an encouraging sign as improvement on the 6.5 attempts per game he was taking last season. And like Paolo, I think in his prime, Wemby should be a 10 plus rim attempt per game player. In fact, I'll take it a step further and say long term, ideally he's taking at least 50% of his shots at the rim, if not more. And given the fact that at his best, I think he's a 20 plus field goal attempt per game player, and if he's taking 10 to 11 shots per game at the rim, that still leaves 9 to 10 attempts that can go into mid-range and three-point shooting. I get the idea of a 7'5" wing that can dribble and create a bunch of shots is really cool. It's something out of a video game that we all try to create at some point. However, I don't think simply being a wing and focusing on the jumper is what will fully unlock how dominant Victor Wembanyama can be. Because the path I see for Wemby reaching his full potential is being a 7'5" big, being someone that's nearly impossible to contain on the basic things like dump-offs, lobs, and rim runs, and only getting better as the years go along as he gets stronger. I believe he could average 15 to 20 points per game simply off doing the basic big man stuff. I think he's that special in those areas physically and intangible wise, especially if he adds more strength to his game. But while on its own, that can make him dominant in one area of scoring, now add the ability to stretch the floor, the ability to create on the ball on 3 levels of the court, and the ability to be a really good playmaker, and now that's a player that's unstoppable, and somebody that really can dominate a game with ease. I think that it's a case of him leaning too much into one thing. And it's not about him getting rid of perimeter offense. I don't think that's the case at all. Just as much as it isn't about making it the main or only focus. I think if Wemby can develop the ability to understand his gravity as a passer, which I don't think he fully has yet, if he can take advantage of where he's most efficient and most unstoppable, instead of an area he has potential in, but isn't nearly as efficient at, it will open up the rest of his game. I do think it's possible that Wemby becomes the most unstoppable offensive player we have ever seen because he does things that nobody his height should be capable of. but the focus needs to be on the practical skills and how they can unlock his rare skills. Victor Wembanyama is one of the most impressive basketball players I've ever seen, and I don't think 7 games is going to change that. He's rare in every sense of the word. His physical tools, movement skills, and athleticism are rare. His skill, feel, and motor are rare. His wiring as a player is rare. He has all the tools we see in all-time greats, and then some. I don't think 7 games to start his second season is going to make me suddenly change my opinion that he is the highest ceiling prospect we have ever seen, especially looking at his profile and what he did as a rookie. However, no player is perfect. He does need to improve on things to reach his full potential. It's not going to happen just because he's talented. However, I'm fairly confident he will develop, because a lot of what he needs to improve upon isn't about improving skills. He has all the skills. It's about improving his approach to the game. And based off the interviews I've seen, quotes from those around him over the years, and just watching his development over the years, where he's played multiple roles on multiple teams, I have all the confidence in the world that he can live up to his potential. A slow start to the season where he still puts up pretty insane numbers isn't going to worry me long term, especially a player who I watched develop into a top 15 to 20 player in the world in 60 to 70 games as a rookie. Only time will tell at the end of the day about how great Victor Wembanyama will be, but at this point, saying the sky's the limit is underselling it, and while he has a lot to work on still, I think that worrying about this is probably just overreacting. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball, and if you enjoy basketball, I think you would enjoy my content. And doing all those things are the best way to help me out. Lets me know that you guys enjoy the content, as well as YouTube know that you enjoy the content, so I can make more of it in the future. Let me know what you think about Victor Wembanyama. Have you been disappointed by his start to the season? Is this what you expected of him? What do you think his ceiling as a player is? And also, let me know other young players that you enjoy watching, because he isn't the only high potential young player in the league. I'd love to hear about other young guys that you like to watch and think have star upside. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.